At the tail end of 2022, a small Mario Kart YouTuber ventured into the world of YouTube Shorts. In them, he would explain tricks and strategies used by competitive Mario Kart 8 Deluxe players. That YouTuber was JP Givener, and these shorts were the biggest success he had ever seen. His subscriber count skyrocketed, and the growth he experienced throughout 2023 was beyond his wildest dreams. He used this success to give back to the community that shaped him, and ran the tournament Ragnarok, with by far the biggest prize pool our community had ever seen. Ragnarok was a resounding success, and JPG promised afterwards that this was just the beginning of an even brighter future to come. But 2 days ago, Nintendo put that future in grave danger. For obvious reasons, most of the outrage over Nintendo's guidelines announcement has been from the Smash community. This is to the surprise of absolutely nobody, given their past feuds with the company and the fact that, despite Nintendo's efforts to make things otherwise, it is and always will be their biggest esport. If you're not a regular viewer here and are just looking for content on the topic, then welcome. I play Mario Kart, specifically 8 Deluxe, and I'd like to shed some light on what these guidelines mean for our community. We're fucked. For a brief overview, the governing body for nearly all things competitive Mario Kart in the West is Mario Kart Central. Their marquee event is Mario Kart Universal, in which 100+ teams are grouped into divisions and play 6-on-6 matches to determine the best ones. If you prefer solo queuing, you might play MK8DX Lounge, in which 12 players of similar skill play 12 races of a voted format in an attempt to gain MMR. Most competitive Mario Kart is played online, but there's been a LAN scene growing rapidly, governed by USMK, and new events are popping up all over the United States, such as Georgia's Athens Dash, Wisconsin's Cheeseland, Massachusetts 1-Up Games, and Ohio's Dragon Drift Days, just to name a few. You wanna know what everything I just said has in common? All of those things break Nintendo's namesake rule. If these guidelines end up actually being enforced, every single tournament and organization I just name-dropped has to rebrand. Not being recognizable by association is already inconvenient enough for a community that's already overshadowed by Smash and Splatoon, but that's simply just that, an inconvenience. Some of the other guidelines in this document are potentially far more malicious. That Athens Dash LAN, it's now locked to University of Georgia students. Same goes for Cyberhound Cup by Moravian University, Road Rage by McDaniel College, and countless others. That huge Ragnarok prize pool from the intro of this video, double the new allowable limit. That premier 6v6 tournament, MKU, roughly 2,000 people played in its latest rendition, blowing the allowable limit out of the water. Technically, there were less than 300 people in each of the 23 divisions it had, and if these guidelines end up actually being enforced, that's probably the excuse we're gonna have to use. The thought of all this is certainly unsettling for us, but who this is an even bigger blow to is the other big Mario Kart title, Wii. Not only does their MKU equivalent Grand Star Cup also infringe on their namesake rule, but for the now 9.5 years that have passed since the WFC shutdown, their only option was to play on custom servers. They've been able to evade the fate of Project M by forcing users to play on original hardware with an original disc, but from the sounds of things, that's not going to cut it anymore. If these guidelines end up actually being enforced, they might single-handedly kill one of the most passionate communities with one of the greatest stories in the entire world of gaming. In the world of esports, there are few jobs as thankless as that of a tournament organizer. These people love the games they play more than anyone else in their respective communities, and my heart goes out to them more so than anybody these guidelines affect. One of our many unsung heroes from this department of the community is Danny Fathom. Danny was the person behind the 8 Deluxe event at MomoCon 2023, and he's now on the verge of one of the biggest accomplishments in Mario Kart history. His next endeavor, Catalyst 2024, is to be the first ever grassroots, fully focused Mario Kart 8 Deluxe major. No more tying into the schedule of an existing con, this is just us and our community for an entire weekend. At least a dozen massive names from the community are already planning on being there, and I've been putting 100% of my channel revenue towards attending the event ever since it was announced. Become a member if you want to see me go, thanks, I love you. If these guidelines end up actually being enforced, the whole thing now being in jeopardy obviously sucks to me as an aspiring player, but my potential pain is nothing compared to what Danny has to worry about. 99% of players don't understand what goes into massive events from behind the scenes, so to see this situation from a different light, I spoke to him about it. Your job, which is already thankless enough, is getting much more convoluted, and the amount of turmoil you're gonna have to go through to follow these guidelines if they hit is something I don't even want to imagine.
I honestly think that most tournaments on the local side of things are probably gonna be fine. I think the only local that this might affect would actually be SNS.
Yeah, they almost give out 10,000 a year. I feel like are they not close to that?
Triple that number.
30,000 a year.
It's about 30,000 a year. So
yeah.
SNS does get affected by it, but the thing is I think HyperX could be good in terms of getting a license for Nintendo because they're already like a solidified like business or whatever. If they really want to continue Saturday Night Speedway, they'll probably just get a license, right? I would say probably over half of the locals, either ones that are on the map or not on the map, are like at bars. You know, people love to drink and play Mario Kart, you know, but obviously as you see in the guidelines,
the whole alcohol thing.
Yeah, like that might play a factor. And now again, this is if you're not licensed, I'm pretty sure. So if you're just a dude trying to run a Mario Kart tournament, then it's got to be at a venue where they're not selling anything, you know, like whether it be food or alcohol. That already directly affects most of the venues. As of right now, the best place to hold a local is either like
your house,
your house, a church, a plain like hotel venue, like, you know, like a ballroom. Like doesn't have to be that big, but like just a plain ballroom that doesn't sell anything. I'm probably gonna make an announcement. I'm gonna be like, hey, don't sign up for Catalyst just yet, even though it's tough because, like, you know, people wanna plan for these tournaments, you know?
Yeah, no,
and Catalyst is 2.5 months away. That's not a lot of time to plan.
Yeah.
And right now I'm on standby because this might actually just be like a around and find out, like, type deal, you know?
Yeah.
Smash is the one obviously most affected by this, especially for like Melee, right? Especially for Melee.
I touch on this in my video, but like Mario Kart Wii is fucked. That game is
Mario
over.
Kart Wii is fucked.
Yeah, that game is over. They might crack down on CTGP now, too. Because tournaments are getting run out of CTGP. People are making money out of CTGP tournaments.
So here's the thing. MKU is especially screwed because, I mean, okay, so supposedly one team equals one entrant. They're not gonna count each person in the team as an entrant. I
actually had a different argument to that. Like, yeah, I would guess there's probably about like 2,000 people that played in the last MKU, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Can we pass off each division as its own tournament?
I checked season 22, there was 180 teams, MKU was okay. Obviously, they'll have to change the name of the tournament because, you know, it can't be Mario Kart. But any of the team-based tournaments are the only tournaments I can see getting royally screwed by this thing as far as like MKC and like online goes. Lounge is like the least of should be the least of people's concerns because it's a queue system. I don't think that's gonna cause a problem. Some people have said otherwise, but I think Lounge should be fine because there's not like a bracket, there's not like really any progression. All it is MMR.
Yeah, it's not really a tournament.
It's literally just a fake number on a Discord server.
Yeah,
like it's all Lounge is.
It's not even actually a tournament. It's just.
It's not. No, it's not. So Lounge should be fine. They should probably change the name of the server at the very least.
A question for you: Have you talked about MomoCon yet, or have you talked to the people at MomoCon yet about all this?
I haven't personally, but the guy who supplies the setups has. There's not too much I can say right now. But I don't think any of us are really worried about MomoCon's ability to get a license if they really, really want to.
Yeah, because like MomoCon's huge.
MomoCon is huge, and if anything, that is realistically the only tournament that this would directly affect us because of its size, you know? If MomoCon, I think the only thing that MomoCon is worried about if it doesn't get a license is actually the 200 player cap. I don't know, like I said, I don't know the status of Catalyst right now, and if I have to accommodate, like, I don't know, like refunds or whatever, then I can. It's just gonna take me a while. Yeah. Understandably, because I'm just one dude. You know? Yeah. This is all me. This is Catalyst is grassroots. I'm gonna see what the venue wants to do. because I'm just a dude running the tournament. It's just gonna be on the venue at this point, and whether they are still down to have us. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to see when more details come out. I gotta wait till November 15th when they actually make it to where you can start licensing. I think this affects Mario Kart maybe not as much as people originally thought, but there are still some factors that people aren't taking into consideration, both on the good side and the bad side.
Kind of that's all I can think of to ask. You kind of answered a lot of my questions before I could really give them to you. And
I just know myself. What can I say?
Yeah, it was nice to hear your perspective, just because, like, you know, a lot of players, like I said, obviously this is terrible for the players. You as a player in your spare time can, like, understand that, but I think a lot of people don't realize, you know, that this has a lot more effect on the people that are trying to make our community a community, you know? Like,
absolutely.
We're all here to play the game, we're all here because we want to play the game, but if no one's out there to give us a way to play the game, then what kind of community really are we?
Exactly.
But really, thank you for your time. Like I said, it's nice to get insight from somebody that's.
I like educating the people on as much behind the scenes stuff as I can.
Yeah.
As much as I can.
Yeah.
There's some things I still can't say.
Yeah, and I really hope I can see you this January.
Heck yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah. Right. Putting out guidelines is one thing, but what we've been given is so arbitrarily strict that you can break half of the rules without trying. It is not permitted to use Nintendo game logos, character images, game images, music, or sound effects for community tournament promotions. Rule broken, rule broken, rule broken, 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 broken. How else are these poor graphic designers supposed to do their jobs? Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. See, I've been using the word if a lot in this script on purpose. After the initial disappointment, the second reaction most have had to this news has been pressing X to doubt. Everyone at this point has seen the clip of Hungrybox, quote-unquote, calling Nintendo's bluff and promising to run his Coinbox series until further notice. We've got 3 weeks until these guidelines are supposedly going to hit, so all we can really do for the time being is hope for the best. This community has been taking incredible strides lately, and I couldn't be prouder of what some of the insanely talented people behind it all have done for us. For it all to be potentially undone due to no wrongdoing of our own is unsettling at best and heartbreaking at worst. We loved your game, Nintendo. Please just let us play it how we want. That's all we ask.